All right, welcome. Today, we're going to break down the powerful core message from the very first chapter of Louise Hay's incredible book, You Can Heal Your Life. Seriously, this is an idea that has helped millions, and we're about to see exactly why. So, the core of everything Louise Hay talks about, really, is this one fundamental idea. Our thoughts aren't just these random, passive things floating around in our heads. Nope, they are the actual creative force that builds and shapes our entire reality. Everything really starts right here. It's such a simple sentence, but it's so profound. Hay is basically saying that the universe is like a giant mirror. Whatever we're putting out there, our energy, our beliefs, our deep-seated thoughts, that's exactly what it's going to reflect right back at us. Just think about how this actually plays out in the real world. Imagine you have two people. One person truly believes deep down that people are out to get them. The other person believes that everyone is always helpful. Now, are they living in two different worlds? Not really, but their experience of the world will be completely, radically different. Why? Because what we believe becomes our truth. Okay, so if it's really that simple, if our thoughts are the architects of our lives, then what's the deal? Why do so many of us feel stuck or find ourselves bumping up against the same old problems over and over and over again? Well, this gets to the heart of it all: responsibility. You see, according to Hay, we are the only thinkers in our own minds. We're in the driver's seat, 100%. But what do? So often, we create these frustrating situations, and then we give our power away by blaming other people or our circumstances for how we feel, totally forgetting we're the ones holding the steering wheel. In all her work, Hay really zeroed in on these 4 emotional patterns as the big ones, the main culprits. She argues that resentment, that constant criticism of ourselves and other people, that lingering guilt, and that pervasive fear, these are the real root causes of most of the big problems we face, both emotionally and, as she argues, even physically. So that leads to a pretty obvious question, right? Where in the world did we learn to think this way? I mean, these patterns don't just pop up out of thin air. And the answer, as you can probably guess, almost always takes us back to our past. When we're little kids, our minds are just like sponges. We don't have those critical filters that we develop later on, so we just soak up everything: the beliefs, the opinions, the attitudes of the adults around us, their words, their reactions. We take it all in as solid gold fact about who we are. You know, maybe as a kid, you were constantly told off for making a mess, and slowly, that little voice inside started to say, I just can't seem to do anything right. Or maybe, whenever things went wrong, the blame somehow landed on you. And after a while, you start to carry this heavy feeling of guilt, this core belief that you're somehow the problem. And when you hear these messages again and again and again, well, they become the invisible script that runs your entire adult life. Now, this is a really crucial point. This is not about blaming our parents. It's about understanding a cycle. As Hay puts it, our parents were often just passing on the same limiting beliefs that they were taught. They couldn't teach us how to love ourselves if nobody ever taught them. And that brings us to the most important question of all. If our childhood programming set all this in motion, are we just stuck? Are we doomed to repeat these same patterns for the rest of our lives? The answer, thankfully, is a huge, resounding no. Because according to Louise Hay, the past has absolutely no power over us. And this right here is where her whole philosophy becomes so incredibly empowering and life-changing. This is the key that unlocks everything. Look, the past is done, it's over. The only power it has is the power you give it with the thoughts you're thinking right now. All of your ability to create the life you truly want exists only in this present moment. I mean, it doesn't matter what the problem is or how long you've had it. Hay says that at the end of the day, it's just the outer result of a thought pattern. And here's the beautiful part. You are the thinker in your mind. A thought can be changed, and you can choose to change it today, right now. Okay, so how do we actually do that? How do we access that power that we have in the present moment? Well, the very first step is to let go of what's behind us. This is where Hay's take on forgiveness is, well, it's a total game changer. It's not about saying what happened was okay. It's not for the other person. Forgiveness is a powerful act for you. It's you deciding, I am no longer willing to carry the weight of the past into my beautiful present. It's about setting yourself free. So, Releasing the past with forgiveness, that's step one. It's absolutely essential. But it's what opens the door to the single most important practice for actually healing your life.
I mean, just think about this. After working with thousands upon thousands of people, Hay found that underneath all the different problems, money issues, relationship drama, health concerns, deep down at the very core of it all was almost always this exact same belief. I'm not good enough.
So, if that's the core problem, what's the solution? What's the magic wand she talks about? It's always the same answer. It's not about finding the perfect job or the perfect partner. It's all about learning to love and approve of yourself. Period. Unconditionally. Just as you are.
Because think about it, when you truly start to accept and approve of yourself, what happens? That need to criticize just dissolves. The resentment fades. You stop creating situations based on fear. Loving yourself isn't just a nice idea. It is the fertile ground where all other positive changes can finally start to grow. And look, you don't have to have this all figured out overnight. You just have to be willing to begin. Your power is right here, in this moment, and it all starts with a single thought. So that just leaves one question, the one you have to ask yourself. What's the one thought you're willing to change starting right now?